Ever wonder what it's like to get bank robbery? Well, I can tell you because it happened to me. The year was 1991. I was 20 years old. I was going to San Jose State and I was working at Bank of the West in San Jose as a bank teller. I got my station open and started accepting customers. I would say about 15 minutes into my shift, a man walked into the bank that I hadn't seen before. We did have a lot of regulars in this area. He was wearing a trench coat on a very warm day. It seemed a bit out of place. He had the choice of 3 windows when it came to his turn. He came to mind and I felt a sinking feeling. I acted like everything was fine, smiling, "Hi, how can I help you?" But still feeling like something was off. He pulled out a little paper bag that was rolled up, folded up basically, and pushed it towards me. And then he pulled out a hand. It was silver. That's all I remember. I saw and looked at him and he said, "Just be calm and give me your money." I was roughly 2.5 feet from him. I stood up out of my chair because we had high chairs that we sat in, and I turned my body to open the drawer, the cash drawer, because they told us no heroes and don't ever push the panic button when somebody is in the bank robbing it because it could create a hostage situation. So I stood up, put my key in the drawer, and my left hand was just hanging free. And as I opened up the drawer, put the key in it, I heard a pop behind my head. What that was the echo of the behind me in the building being shot. Even though I realized I was being held up and there was a pointed at me, I didn't put it all together in that moment. It's like an out-of-body experience. It truly is. I looked down at my left wrist and I had 2 fresh bullet holes in my wrist, one going in, one going out. I looked at him and he had pointed on me still and he said, "Just be calm." I started handing him all of my cash as I bled all over it. Other tellers were handing him cash as well, and we were all just in a state of shock. He had all of the money stuffed in a paper bag and he walked out. My manager locked the door and we obviously called 911 immediately.
Maybe it was the shock, but Lee remained ridiculously calm throughout.
At this moment, it's really hard for your brain to understand what's going on. It's like with any traumatic kind of out of the ordinary injury. I was just going to work and 15 minutes later, here I am on the floor of my bank. And so my brain is not catching up with all of this. It's just, you're kind of in this just survival. It's like whatever's happening is going to happen. And then you just kind of go with it because you don't really know what else to do. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I was very quiet. I was in pain. I basically just went with the flow. I didn't pass out or anything like that. So what they realized when they cut my clothes off is that bullet had actually come out of my wrist. That is the exit wound right there, and had gone into my chest. It went upwards and then it hit a rib and then it came out underneath my arm. Thankfully, that just chipped a rib. That was it. Thankfully, that's why we have ribs. It protected my lungs. Otherwise, my lung would have collapsed. So my hand is in major pain. I'm naked on the floor. They get me in the ambulance, take me to San Jose Medical Center. So I went to San Jose Medical Center, or Valley Med. They just sewed up my injury here. Everything else healed on its own. I have some slight nerve damage from the bullet going through my wrist. I did not need any therapy or anything after this incident. I don't know why. I went back to work there about 3 months later and worked for another year at the same location. I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was personal. The one question that I'm always asked is, why did he do it? Why did he do it? And I will never know why. I actually wrote to him when he was in jail just to let him know that my life went on and I was okay. And I don't know. I wasn't upset about it. I really do feel like it was just a freak accident. But I do think maybe the was, already in a position where if you just barely touch it, it'll probably go off. So I think that's what happened. I didn't do anything to startle him. I followed all of his directions. So it was strange that he shot me.
Miraculously, her injuries were not fatal and the bullet avoided her lung. Surprisingly, Lee is not psychologically scarred from the robbery, being able to have the bullet and even a scrapbook of the entire ordeal.
This is my bullet that went through me. It was a .38 hollow tip. You can see right there where it hit my rib, more than likely. It didn't flower open, which is what these are supposed to do. That's just to put a big hole in you. But I think because we were so close in proximity, it didn't do what it was supposed to. But it's pretty heavy. It feels like it's kind of weighty. Okay, this is my scrapbook. This is me at home at my mom's, recovering with my little wrist wrap there. Here's one of the articles. San Jose Police, Jim Overstreet, woo woo. He was on the case right away. Channel 36 interviewed me. I ended up going to work for them after, which was kind of cool. This is my manager, Margaret, who was obviously distressed. Some more articles. Cop seeks man who teller, escaped with cash in noon holdup. This is him, Curtis Blackwell Jr. Calm robber. Teller flees with cash. Bank robber is a suspect in 8 other heists. Yes, he robbed many more banks. So here's my hospital bracelets. I took this with a disc camera. Unfortunately, I didn't have a phone camera back then. This is, a long time ago. Here's my chest injury, but it was sewn up. So that's all the bruising. And then wrist injury again. And there's my exit wound on my chest. And more of the chest. That's it. Those are the only pictures I took.
It is miraculous that Lee survived such a harrowing experience, made worse by the fact that she knew something was wrong from the second her eyes glimpsed the bank robber. Thankfully, Lee's injuries were as minor as they could have been, with scarring on her wrist and a mark on her chest, but no long-term damage. Maybe that is why she seemed so calm about the whole situation, which was now over 30 years ago. She knows it could have been an awful lot worse. She now owns what happened, not letting the trauma of the event affect her. The comment section were shocked by Lee's story, but grateful she survived. Glad you're okay. That is so life-changing. And so sorry you experienced this. And one person telling us how it really is. I would be so angry the guy shot me even though I was doing what he asked. Like, really? So rude. As always, thanks for watching Happiest. If you liked this video, then be sure to follow our Instagram and TikTok pages for more interesting videos like this. And if you have any of your own videos you'd like to share, be sure to send them in.